Aman, you had a great story today on how the FDI figures, the FDI inflow figures into India says something very different from what the government has been trying to make us believe, that how the Make in India program is sort of boosting foreign investors' interest into India. So can you just run us through the numbers, or just...
You see, what had happened was the Make in India program started around September of 2015, about almost 4 or 5 months after Modi came into power, 3 or 4 months after that. And around September 2014, not 15. February of 2015, they put out a press release saying that in the first 6 odd months, FDI had actually surged by 48% over the previous year, period in the same period, and they essentially attributed the success to the Make in India program. Mm-hmm. Now, and then of course later again in the economic survey this year, which is released pre-budget in February, they said that overall during this year and a half or so the surge had been about 40%, and they again attributed it to Make in India. But the thing is, if you look at the breakdown, although it is true that between 2014-15 and 2015-16, FDI went up from $31 billion to $40 billion, which is a surge of about 30%, year on year. But the fact is, Make in India was supposed to bring in foreign investment into manufacturing. That has not happened. If anything, at least 3 marquee sectors in manufacturing, automobiles, pharma and construction, the inflows have actually gone down, and gone down quite significantly, at least for pharma and for construction. They've halved, and they've gone down to 1/6 in these 2 sectors. Now, that clearly defeats the purpose of Make in India being a driver for bringing in foreign equity money into manufacturing in the country. To that extent, I think this has, at least in the first couple of years, not succeeded, and there are quite a few reasons for that, which we can sort of go into over time.
So if you just juxtapose the data that the government has come up with and look at the figures that you have actually already talked about in the story, what does it say about the sectors that's actually getting foreign investment? I mean, is it partly related to manufacturing? Is it the positive factor?
Which are the sectors that are actually, the service sector is actually getting it. So you basically have sectors like the software sector, for instance. You have sectors like tourism. You have, a couple of other such sectors. You have sectors like trading, for instance, which are getting the money. Now, those sectors have traditionally anyway been getting more money in the last, say, half a decade or a little over that. And that has not changed. Now, Make in India was supposed to change that, or at least, bridge the gap. That doesn't seem to be happening. And when, you speak to economists or people who have actually, even people like Raghuram Rajan who have spoken, you see, the fact is India is trying to substitute imports. Now, that is a strategy that might have either worked, or you could have legitimately sort of, done it or tried doing it 20-25 years back, when China and India were still at some bit of a parity with each other. China did it successfully. You're still trying to ape China 25 years after you began liberalizing. That I don't think is a strategy that's really going to work. That is point number 1. Number 2, now let's take a case in point. Look at the Nokia plant in Madras, Sri Perumbudur near Madras, Chennai. It is a plant that was employing 15,000 people. It was one of the largest mobile manufacturing facilities in the world. It's shut down. You're not able to revive it. And this is, I take this example because one of the things that is actually you're having to import, which you want to substitute by bringing in Make in India, is electronics. Your electronics imports last year, if I remember the figures, give or take a little bit here or there, were about $38 billion. Yes, there are estimates that this could actually go up to $300 billion, nearly 10 times by 2020. That is in the next 3.5 years. If that happens, it will actually surpass your oil imports. Yes, so our love for mobile phones is good that it's pushing us at the forefront of the information technology age, but it's also wrecking our economy. And where there were people who were manufacturing it, those plants have been shut down.